Welcome, everyone. How are you today? Really nice to have you here. Fasting Space on the Simple Fasting channel. I'm Dr. Z. If we haven't met, if you're coming through new, really nice to have you here. Check out my little statement down at the bottom. Give me any feedback. Does that look like something that everybody can see on their mobile device? I want people coming through to understand what is happening here. Who is this guy floating in a bubble over a countryside? A thoughtful place for weight loss and wellness. I want it to be your space. I do want it. Share questions and reflections. Everybody welcome. Make it your show. Make it your process. Marie is here. Good morning. Hello. How are you? Very interesting topic today. I hope so. I did the session the other day, reflections from the forest. The forest where I was speaking, you can see down in front of us. And then you climb up a hill and you can look out over the countryside. Very favorite place. This loop, so after I recorded, in that recording, I said, boy, I could sit here for a long time because it was so nice. And I just might, and then I did. But I hiked up the hill and turned on the camera. And I think 29 minutes I recorded, just the clouds going by. I think it's around 14 minutes in, you see a bald eagle flies by. And so that's always a highlight to me to watch. It's pretty windy. I didn't put any audio in this background because it's just the wind is blowing. You can see the little trees in the front. But you watch that bald eagle. You know, it only takes 4 or 5 seconds and it goes all the way out without even flapping its wings, just soaring with the wind. And then it works its way back over like 5 minutes. I watched it. And then the whole time it never flaps its wings. It's just controlling, its body angle in the wind. And every time I'm out here watching the eagle, I think of so many metaphors for us in this space. The current is flowing against us. The wind is flowing against us. Do you ever feel that way? That, man, okay, but look at the eagle. The eagle aligns itself and it uses the breeze. It flies directly against it. Zigzag, a little bit like a sailboat in the wind. It knows how to do it. This is what we want. We've got headwinds, right, in our life. This is the obstacle is the way. The wind is not at our backs for a while. How is the obstacle is the way? The eagle is making the obstacle the way, I'll tell you. And so this is what we want to do in life. One of the ways that we can do that today, mastering the past with insights from my favorite tiny little book. I brought a few quotes from this. I think the last one I did, I titled, I don't know, it was a while ago, Empower Yourself. That was the quote. Tiny quotes, big ideas. I loved that. Empower yourself. Could just do a whole nother session on that. See, I just hear it. And I want to talk more about it. So many things people put money into, but do we put money into our health? Do we put the time? Do we give ourselves the tools, everything to thrive? I won't start talking about it again. Just go back if you missed it. Empower Yourself was the title of that session. Today, listen to this quote, only a little bit longer. Master your past in the present, or the past will master your future. Fasting space, what I say about it. A fasting process one way to think about it. Pinnacle health pursuit. We're climbing the mountain now, right? To think of every dietary process. Every diet in the world have ideas about what to eat. I like to say every diet will tell you what to eat, but never when to stop, And so as we think though, diet, bring it all the way down into the pure form. Fasting is like the base, it's like the pinnacle of the mountain. Really getting into some space there. Now, we can describe fasting in only 1 to 3 sentences. You can outline the whole thing because it's very, very simple. That's why I called it simple fasting. I was talking to a friend the other day who's new to fasting. They wanted to try it out. They're like, "Oh, Phil, you're into fasting, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, what do I do?" Well, we talked through it, and now they're doing it, and they're like, this is so simple. That's what they said. They said, it's not really easy, but it is simple. I was like, this is what I say. Not necessarily easy, but simple. And then what I explain to them, I explain to anybody. It's a practice that you build skill at. Nothing really. Can you find the exception? Nothing that is valuable in life is always easy. I'm sure there's exceptions. Breathing. Isn't breathing easy? Well, until you really try to sink into it, to really use it as a therapeutic tool. Anyway. So the thing about health and the thing about making changes to health is that we don't come at it from a blank slate, We are not tabula rasa, the mind of a child. We have had a vast experience of life that has brought us to this place and this moment. Anybody can explain fasting to you, right? Anybody can say, oh, it's very simple. You don't eat for a period of time. And I like to explain fasting as a spectrum. It's like, we got the classically understood things, 16-8, 18-6, OMAD, maybe fasting for a day, extended fasting. Okay, there's kind of these notches. Think of them like gears that you can shift your way into, But really, this is variable transmission, okay? It's just the whole spectrum. Continuous variable transmission. So I always just tell people you don't have to start at 16 hours. I was talking to a patient the other day who say 16 hours is very intimidating to them. I say, look, let's just atomic habits our way there and start with 5 minutes, and if we did 5 minutes this week and 10 the next, 15 and 20 by the, end of a month even, we can bring it way back. No pressure. So we can go through that cycle, and we've done that. And anybody who wants me to dive through detailed questions about the physiology of fasting and the timing of it and how do you do it, and I got videos on fasting aids and all this sort of stuff. Okay, but once we get that, that's what I consider the basics, okay? Once we got the basic understanding, the real meat of it, the real deal, is actually doing it. It is making it a part of life so that it can give the benefits that it has to offer. No real benefits necessarily to knowing about it without practicing it. Although I'm thinking to myself, well, wasn't I saying the other day that fasting is a mindset as much as anything? Yeah, and so maybe knowing about it does have value just to see, oh, this is a type of thing that is possible. So I caveat, some benefits can come even from knowing about it and thinking about it even, I think. But the real experience of it, is, of course, is doing it, and that's where it goes from something that is simple, yes, to something that can be difficult to actually implement. And from my perspective, when I think of this quote, Tell me what your experience is. Our past is what makes it difficult more than anything. Because we have habits and patterns, and we have emotions that are in grooves and ways of being that we have developed that feel normal and natural. And the way our mind works, almost everything is set up to make change feel difficult and to make things that we're used to feel good and normal. Because we've been doing those things for a period of time and we're still alive. We've made it, right? Which means what you're doing is pretty safe. And so as we are moving in a direction, anytime we change, say we want to have a feeling of safety. Remember, we've gone into this. And the safe message from the body that deep breathing gives us, parasympathetic flow, shutting down the stress response, telling the body's okay. That's how you get into the space where you hormonally create the environment where you can start something like an autophagy process. Yes, autophagy, the very, very precise details of timing of autophagy have been mapped out in animal models. It apparently is very hard to do it on living people to really, you gotta get some stuff under the microscope and dissect it. But the basic understanding is present in people. And as far as I can tell, it can vary. There are many factors that can vary the timing of that, including how much exercise are we getting and what type of diet are we following. High carbohydrate diets that are leading to higher insulin levels going to be a barrier to that. If we are exercising a lot and we're burning through our reserves, the barrier to the autophagy space is going to be much less. Some people with significant exercise, you can start even getting into that fairly quickly, even through exercise. The path toward it through fasting is the process of getting autophagy without having to work extremely hard to do it, other than doing the mental work of opening up the physical space to do it. But as you start getting out towards 16 hours is when that system starts clicking in, maybe 12 on the early end, depending on the variables. And then 16, yes, it's kind of turning on. And then it's just like fasting is a dial and a gradient. The autophagy process is also like that. It isn't just one thing. It's not like it turns on. It ramps up. And it even ramps up for 4 or 5 days. As you head out into an extended fasting period, you will ramp up deeper and deeper levels of an autophagy process. But simple fasting, would I say a spectrum of experience within a day, maybe a day of fasting, is something that is on the shallow end of the pool for fasting. It's kind of dipping your toe in the water, getting a little bit of autophagy. Not the deepest levels, but the body can do profound things with even little bits of this space. And so that's where I have focused historically. So the real barrier to something that, say, I like that. We were talking the other day, say, autophagy effect. I like that. Cellular cleansing, get rid of all the junk in the cells and kind of refresh, revitalize the system. I want that. It's one thing to say, well, I want it, and then, but you can't buy it. You have to do it. And so we want to look into this space. Master the past, so the past doesn't master your future. So we're wanting our future to be different. We're trying to turn the rudder on the sailboat so that we start going in a little bit different direction. there's something that can be easier said than done. How do you master the past? And do you agree with it? Can you see how that can be the case? Can you see how it be the case? And here's what I encourage people to do. I've spent definitely some time doing this. Get in a journal and start writing it out, you know. Do you really think it is the case? And sometimes it's not completely obvious, but start writing about the past and the experiences that have shaped and formed us and how we have come to have the opinions that we do. Just to start mapping it out, to look at the landscape is something, like you definitely can't master something that you don't understand. So I would encourage you, do you understand even yourself? We had that session in the fall, the illusion of understanding, and we said, if there's anything we should understand, it would be ourselves. Like, we're the only person who has lived this human life that we have, and we've actually got the most firsthand experience that you could possibly have. Don't we understand ourselves? Well, when you start digging into it, it's actually tricky. Do you feel this way, that the past, our memory of it, as we got this out of Thinking Fast and Slow, memory gets a little bit like this over time. Memory can be influenced and shaped. Parts of our brain weave things into convenient stories for us that help to make our little mental heuristics, like the mental tricks that help keep everything organized and coherent, help everything fit into narratives that help to make sense of the world for us, so that we don't feel so overwhelmed. Like, we don't have 17 million data points of every day. You know, it gets compressed into a story. That's what starts to form our identity. Atomic Habits was giving us that perspective that if we really want to change, we really want to move forward, it's like the most powerful way to do it is to get to the identity place. Like, who am I? Most people who try to make changes start on the outside of that shell. Probably I have that picture still in here somewhere. But it was like actions out on the outside. We start to just focus on changing the actions first, without breaking inside. Who is this person, you know? Who this person is in many ways shaped by the past. We are now who we have come to be through a process and experience. So the process of mastering the past is right in the same space of answering the idea from Atomic Habits. How do you get in there and change this identity? And who am I, and why do I do the things that I do? And what are the actions that actually are in alignment with who I am really and who I want to be? And that is a fluid space. So we're getting to I think the root of these things. How do you change? And then we're taking these threads from the mountain as you. Don't let our emotions guide our actions. We said actions first, emotions follow. So like there's this interesting intersection there. We're trying to master the past. The past is here with us in the present. We can reflect on it and see how we are interacting with it. How things that have happened to us in the past are shaping our decisions now. Do you see examples of that? So here we are in an interesting loop, stuck in the past. And then we're trying to look at this loop going forward, because who we are now is shaping who we are in the future. And so you can see this flow where who we've been. Look what we did at Atomic Habits the other day when I was sitting by the lake. How did they phrase it? What we our next action is heavily influenced by what we just did, Like we do something, creates the cue for the next process. We have a past has formed our present. Present is shaping the future. We say we want to get in that whole cycle. Do you see that? We want to get in that loop. Well, let's bring it all the way back to where this started. In the past. We don't have to be defined by the past. When we start telling ourselves different stories about the past, or we start reinterpreting, or we say, what this has meant has led to these actions, but I'm going to think differently about that. I'm going to stop that flow and we're going to replace it with something different. You can especially get into this place with any sort of trauma that has happened, any sort of thing that has been difficult that we have developed pathological coping processes for. You can see that we can bring grace to ourselves in that space and realize, oh, I see what has happened here. At a different point in my life, something happened. Influences came in and shaped my thinking. And when we recognize it and name it, and especially write it out so that we can get it out and separate it and see it, then we can start to become more objective about it. We can start to see reality more clearly. Mastering the past is about seeing the present reality more clearly and gaining deeper understanding of why things are the way they are. So that we can move forward in the healthiest way. This is what to do if you feel barriers to it. Across any domain, whether it's fasting, say Pinnacle health process, whether it's every basic thing that a human being needs, moving the body in the healthiest ways, eating the healthiest foods, keeping the toxic foods that probably shouldn't even really be called foods out of the body. Opening up a beautiful space to take a deep breath, clear the mind. I was listening to someone talk yesterday about a meditation space and about the first time they heard it suggested that, oh, learn to do a meditation. And they just laughed and they said, there's no way I could do that. And then why would you want to do it? And I remember that really, really resonated with me because that's how I felt about it like a couple years ago. And it was like just the whole idea, because a meditation to me is so far away from where our society is, Our society is like always on attention economy. I don't think it's really super healthy, I don't think it's super healthy. I think there's great benefit that can come from using digital tools to connect people across space and time. And that's why I do really love this format, that we can connect across distances, share ideas of health. I love it. But then one of those ideas that we should transmit is like, where's the off button too? And as we click off, you say, what replaces that space? To me, a meditation space, one of the most powerful spaces of health in the body. And then, of course, there's a big interface between a fasting space, meditation space. It's like mind and body mirrored together. One of the first quotes in this little book, I did this how did they phrase it? Thought creates reality. That's that mini quote from a mini book. I just love it. Like sometimes like the biggest ideas come in the smallest things. Fasting so much like that. It's like we've gotten so small that it's down to nothing. Thought creates reality. As we get into a meditation space, then we're going definitely into there. And you want to connect a fasting space to a meditation space. That's especially a space to get into if you find it difficult, if you struggle to actually do it. I think I've watched, I want to understand, how do people in popular society, other people, communicate about fasting? I watched tons of videos from other people, on YouTube. So many people, maybe not everybody, many people I'm in, trying to sell things. There is hype out there. Like, I definitely run into people, a barrier that I face when I'm talking to people about fasting. They say, oh, isn't that a fad? And I'm like, well, kind of, yeah, from a certain perspective, because like people came to understand in society that there is efficacy in this process and people kind of run with it. And what I often try to help people understand is like, also, okay, it's true. This went out into popular society. There are influencer people talking about it. And they can sell the idea that it is both simple and easy. And when something is not always easy and it's sold that way, then we can have discouragement. I like to say the secret to happiness in life is low expectations, because most conflict and most discouragement comes from discrepancy between our expectations and reality. And when we are disappointed, it starts to create negative thinking and a negative cycle. Lower the expectations keeps things in line with reality. Most things of value in life are more difficult than we wish that they were. Take more time and effort. It's just the reality, right? Like the house project, whatever it is. Queen of Heaven is here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here. As I was just reading, a man thinks, so is he, so he is, so is he. Yeah. This is where I want to go into that space. Thought creates reality. Not in some magical sense, but in a real tangible physical sense. So get into that space. I was saying the connection, a meditation space, a fasting space. Especially if you're struggling with fasting, I say here is a space where you can really dial into it. Merge these two thoughts together, mastering the past in the present so that it does not control our future. Thought creates reality. What is the experience that we want to try to shape and create for ourselves in the future? What are the thoughts to think that would help that to be a reality? When you open up a fasting space, when you open up a meditation space, space in the body, space in the mind, one can flow into the other. Especially the mental space that we're saying. Use that space, that openness, to reflect on the process. See the parallels, the connection between mind and body. Use the strength of a meditation space to build the emotional fortitude to help you guide the body through a fasting space. One type of strength serves the other. Fasting is strength in the body. Oh, there went our background. Fasting is strength in the body. There is energy in the body, but how trained is the body to use it? Okay. Has the body had a practice and a pattern of doing it? Or has it not? Just like a muscle, if we never use a muscle, it'll atrophy, right? Body does not invest resources into things that aren't used. It's like we practice fasting, body's like, oh, this is something important. We're going to have to get this access. Better keep the highways to that location wide open and clear, Same thing in the mind. Meditation, there's something simple but not easy, okay? I don't know about your experience. I have found it more difficult in my life to practice meditation than to practice fasting. Maybe maybe I have to really put more effort into one than the other. But here is mental strength. Do you want mental strength? I don't know if you can really see that well. If you want a mental... Oops, there we go. If you want a mental strength, meditation is building mental strength. Have you experienced it? You tried to practice meditation. You say, what is it? I'm going to sit in a calm, quiet space. I'm going to clear my thoughts. I'm going to try to breathe and find peace and contentment in a space. I don't know about you. I was so intimidated. Like even still, even when I have done it been working on it for a couple years, there's still a barrier to entry to do it. Like, am I really going to do this now? Is this really important? Should I really be? Is this really the best use of my time to sit and do nothing? Because don't you start to do it? It's like you feel judgment from society. Like it's like you're alone in your room. Nobody knows like what you are doing, and who cares? What anyone else would think anyway. But I will just even feel it, like, oh, am I wasting my time here? Is like somebody say, who is this guy? He sits and does nothing, is lazy. You could bring in like all this judgment. And is that just stuff that comes out of my mind of like... But do you see that when you open that space, it's like these are the thoughts that come out. You realize, oh, there is judgment here. There is pressure. There are all these things that are coming, all right? How do you get thoughts like that out of your mind? You have to give space for it to happen. It's the same. Do you see that it's the same pattern? How do you get an autophagy in the body? You just have to open the space so that the energy can flow out, so the processes can happen. Same thing in the mind. Do you experience mental clutter? Do you have just so many thoughts where it's like, how do you get all these thoughts to stop, Open up the meditation space. Takes 10-15 minutes. That's been my experience. To get through the anxiety of the experience, to breathe through it, to sit with the desire to have to move and do something. I was doing the talk, when I was up north, and I went and I was sitting out on this frozen lake in this beautiful place with an eagle flying around and all this stuff. And it was so hard just to sit there, and it was so beautiful. There's a gentle snow is falling, and it's like, could you imagine a more peaceful and idyllic place than sitting in this beautiful lake, right? And totally in nature, away from every sort of distraction. It still took me 10 or 15 minutes for all that to calm down. And so you get into a space like that, is releasing all of the thoughts, all of the negative thoughts, even the positive thoughts. Like I was saying, it's so easy. Like you try to do a meditation, you say, well, I want to get up and just take a walk. Isn't taking a walk good? Of course it is good. So good. A process of health in many ways. We have to learn to say no to things. Look at what we're saying no to in the mirror between these two things. Meditation space, fasting space. Is food good? Yes, but we say no to it to open up space for a period of time for something better, right? Autophagy space, healing and cleansing space in the body. Look at a meditation space. Isn't taking a walk good? You say, I'm feeling anxious, like I have to move. Are you telling me I'm sitting here in this space and do nothing? It seems pointless. It's like, shouldn't I just take a walk? Can't I clear my mind taking a walk? Isn't a walk good for the body? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so, but sometimes we have to say no to good things in order to make room for things that are better. And these would be like the pinnacle sort of places: fasting space, meditation space. We build that space. In that space, you say, there's where you can really get in, like we said, find the things in the past. That's building mental strength. Like I was explaining, okay, physical strength, fasting in the body, how trained is the body to use that energy. Okay, now how trained is the mind? I say a lot, we want to find a space of peace and contentment mentally. Very hard to do in distraction society, right? And so this is what the practice looks like to the best that I know it. To schedule it in, remember atomic habits, intention, implementation, intention. Schedule it on the calendar. Give your meditation practice a time and a place to live in the world, to like make it a priority and open it up. And then in that space, I say what comes up, right? Maybe just what comes up is, I hate this. This feels anxious. It feels awkward. And I say, okay, that's where the journal is, and write that out. You say, what do I write in a journal? I say, write what comes up in the meditation, which is, and maybe the first thing is, I hate this. I don't see how this is helping my life. How can I just sit here in a space, right? But even that would be like, as bad as it could be, right? See, I'm like really bored here. I feel like I got to be doing something, okay? But even that, think of the insight that you can gain from it. What is the way of being that I want in the world? Isn't it the case that a human being can find peace and contentment right here inside of myself? And shouldn't I be able to do that? Is it something that you really want to be able to do? And can you see then that if you are building that strength, the type of mental strength that can sit in a space peacefully and content, that would help you to practice fasting? And you see the flow back around, that if you are training the body, that we are not so dependent on every external thing, that would flow back around and help you to be able to practice meditation and sit in a space better, because really, isn't it the same thing? The body and the mind. The past and the present and the future. It's all flowing together. And that sort of space, meditation spaces, especially when you can get in those loops and start to reinterpret them and shape them in the way that is really serving you going forward. Do you have other thoughts about mastering the past? How does that sit? How does that feel to you? Let me know. I am happy to discuss further, happy to answer any other question that you have to the best of my ability. If you're coming through on the replay, also throw your reflections in the comments. Love to have an ongoing conversation in the comments. We can do it across time and dig deep into these concepts. To me, I feel like this sort of idea, getting in that loop between past and present, is one of the most powerful steps that we can take to move forward in health. If you are feeling a barrier in any fashion to taking steps, if you've identified steps, but are feeling a barrier to do it. These are the types of thinking, all the thinking that we're going through, the books and the quotes and the thought process, is trying to get into these root levels. One of my big frustrations in medicine has been the lack of a focus on root level interventions. We have a society that is very focused on superficial and appearances. Don't keep talking about it. I don't quite know what you mean by it. Give me more on that, I would say. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. So there is something nice to think about. I was saying, if you are having barriers, okay, what if you are not having barriers, okay? We don't want to create any self-fulfilling prophecy. Look, if someone is in a space, someone is just in a flow, say everything is going so well, I'm not experiencing barriers. Look, I'm taking powerful steps every day. Maybe that's the space. Maybe you say, see, at some point you say, look, I've been working at something for a very long time. And look, I am on my road and I have my process and path. And every day I'm taking powerful steps. And and we have momentum and things are rolling. Like, you don't have to interrupt that. And a lot of things we try to do, I try to share two, perspectives on it. We can talk about the benefits of long-term planning and setting a point on the distant horizon and looking toward it, okay? And then we can also have quotes like I shared back in the fall from Jensen Huang, who's running a multi-trillion-dollar company, who says he has no long-term plans and he just lives in the present, and they say we're going to solve today's problems today. It's like very different perspective. Each have value. And we have certainly had the discussion and the perspective on living in the present is not living in the past. Okay, so here's some balance. We don't want to be living in the past. We don't want to. We did our sessions letting go of regret, all these sort of things. Okay, it's when there are the barriers. This idea, mastering the past, is about when we are stuck. It is about when we have barriers. Many times if we are stuck, we can find answers to that somehow in the past of what has led us to this obstacle. And so mastering the past, listen, if you have already done it to a satisfactory level where you do not feel a blockage to any sort of flow toward better health, you don't have to keep going back. So that's what I would say. Should we keep looking back? Not if you're running forward, If you are like, man, I have left the past behind, I see the negative cycles, I've broken out of them, and we are running in such a positive direction, don't look back, huh? But as a powerful health process, that's the balance between the things. Look back when we need to gain the insight. Yeah, I appreciate that. That I think is the case. There is the huge struggle, and it's an ongoing process, I would say, and it's the type of thing that you can flow in and out of. I've definitely experienced seasons where I really felt grounded and present, and times where I have kind of lost the plot again, And so maybe that's the thing, a lot of things in life we have a lot of linear thinking in our society, and really a lot of life is more like a flow in a cycle, right? And so having a process, this is where the journal can really help. Have a process of realizing when you've kind of reached an extreme. It's like, oh, we were in a good space. You can flip back. Weren't we kind of in a better space? Try to course correct. Help to kind of keep the even keel on things. Very, very easy to be stuck in the past. That's what this is about. Mastering the past is about trying to live in the present moment, If you're already there, say don't leave. But if you're finding yourself stuck in a space, yes, mastering the past. And then mastering the future, to the extent that we can do it, is the other side of it, which is we have anxiety about the future. And so depression, regret, things like this are stuck in the past. We bring that into the present, find peace and contentment. Anxiety and worry, that's living in the future. And so we want to bring all these things into the present. Much easier said than done, but so important. Meditation, breathing, journaling, like the core practices I've found to help center ourselves and do it. And to me, these are the practices, more than just knowing some fact about fasting, to bring the mind into a place of peace and contentment, to me, is the process that can help mind flow out into the body, bring health to the body, in many ways. And then just the fasting process, just one of them. So, wish you the very best in this day. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I look forward to touching base with you tomorrow. I'm going to be on the road on Friday. I haven't decided if I will record something to play, but I will be in a vehicle on Friday morning heading to St. Louis. Going to be visiting some friends for a little extended weekend, and looking forward to that. So no live on Friday. People can share if they have an opinion. I will make up my mind probably later today, tomorrow, about if should I record something and post it or not. I will think about it. Or if we will do a digital fasting and reconvene on Monday. So have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.